Hi folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. I'm here with Rust Eddy today, and Rust has been my fishing buddy for several years now, and he's been on the show many times before, and we've talked about a number of different things that I think are kind of unique. And Rust, all winter long, I've told you, I live thinking about what fishing is going to be like, doing sports shows and watching the videos that we've created that we're showing people about our great area. You know, it just makes me want this so bad, and now it's here. To me, this is the greatest fishing time of the year. And there's a couple things I wanted to ask you. You being a person that didn't come from this area, you grew up in another part of the United States, and your fishing before coming here was basically trout fishing. And this is all different. There's so much that we have to offer. What would you say if I was to say to you, what is your favorite type of fishing that you look forward to? I know you're going to tell me that it's musky fishing, but let's get away from the musky fishing right now for a second.
Well, I can't wait for muskie season, but years ago I would have had only one answer for that, and it would have been muskies. But that's not the case anymore. I mean, right now, I mean, northern pike are just so much fun to catch, and if you find the right spot where the pike are populated, and you get into a mess of northern pike, there's no fish that attacks with more aggression more consistently than a northern pike. Now, a bigger muskie will attack more violently, and a smallmouth bass, pound for pound, might fight harder. But northern pike season opens on May 1st, and on May 1st, I go out, and I know you do too, and start looking for northerns. And the beauty of it is that you find them. They're really, I mean, you might have to wade out into St. Lawrence River Bay, or you might have to put your canoe in a little backwater, or you might have to, everybody has, hey, northerns are everywhere. I mean, northerns are in ponds up in the Adirondacks,
Yes.
I've heard. So northerns are everywhere, and northerns, and here's another little secret about northerns that's not so secret, is once you go fish for northerns, other fish are biting the same lure. So
that's true. So you're going to catch a number of different things.
You are, but I mean, I love northern pike season right now. It's just so much fun.
Well, let me add that on the first day of northern pike fishing season, Russ and I went out, and we went to one of our favorite places. And what really struck me is, for the last couple of years, we haven't really caught big pike, and yet on that day, we caught several really nice big pike, and I don't know what it tells us. I'd like to say, well, all is well in pike land, but we've had concerns about northerns being able to reproduce because of changes in the environment around us, with a lot of different things coming into the areas where they go to spawn. They're not able to get in there the same. But these pike were big. And they didn't just get big overnight. These pike had to be a few years old, several years old, I would think. The pike we were catching, you caught one that we landed that was almost like a beast. That thing was really big. And I don't know how old it would be, but I would say, they say...
We're doing these shows from my house, and my Rottweiler is barking at some passerbys, so hopefully you guys can hear him. But I just want to add on real quick. On May 1st, we go out, and our expectation is kind of set up by the previous year, where we go to the spots where we had success, and we hope and maybe think that we're going to kind of have the same experience. And every year is different. Every year, we did run into a whole bunch of big northerns on day one. Last year, the big northerns were elsewhere. And this year we went to another spot where we caught some big ones last year. This was just a few days ago. And we went to a spot where we were expecting big ones, and we saw a lot of northerns, and none of them were very big at all. And
No,
that
and-
was that little point out on the river.
And when we're talking about big northern pike, we're talking about pike that are at least 10 pounds. You know, a 10-pound pike is about 3 feet long. And
I just don't catch fish as big as northern pike unless I'm catching muskies. And I'll tell you what, right now, pike are easier to catch than muskies.
because,
I think they're just so aggressive, and they're so voraciously, they just feed on whatever is around. And muskies are more particular.
well, folks, I got to tell you, we've just had another day where we've gone after northern pike. And, you know, in our area, it's illegal to catch and release bass at this time. And wherever northerns are and whatever lure you're using is going to work for bass as well. So you are going to catch bass when you're fishing for northern pike. Now, we haven't really caught any smallmouth in going after northerns. They don't seem to be in the same areas that they were a year ago.
Now, there's that thing about every year being different. Last year, and I'm sure folks have heard you and I talk about my fishing buddy, Melissa. I went out to a spot that you and I know very well, and I watched Melissa catch smallmouth bass after smallmouth bass. We were going for northerns, but the smallmouth bass were in that spot. It was the same spot you and I started out this year. Just you were speaking of it just
Yes.
a minute ago.
Not
Didn't see a
one.
smallmouth
No,
bass there.
we sure didn't.
At all. So every year is just different. And you don't know what to expect.
Well, anyway, folks, this is what I wanted to talk to Rust about. You know, so many people are amazed that we're so infatuated with catching northern pike. I am every bit as much as Rust. It's been a fish that I long for every year because of the vicious way that they strike, because of the way that they fight, and just the waters you find them in. It's pretty special fishing. You don't need great big giant boats to be able to get to those waters where the northern pike are. They're in backwaters right now. They're still in the areas where they come in the winter to spawn, and it gives you a chance to fish some of these more sheltered waters that are easier for us to get to. And I got to tell you, this is a big part of my fishing year right now, to be able to go for northern pike. Until next time, folks, we'll be talking to Rust again. I've got some more questions to ask him about trout fishing in particular. This is Don Meissner and Rust Eddy with the North Country Fishing Report.